My name is Sophie MorganGenus, and I want to talk about ways of managing our life to reduce stress, to work our lives more effectively. And I want to talk about what's called the WRAP plan. It's a Wellness Recovery Action Plan, and it's a technique that I used when I used to work with the assertive engagement team. The assertive engagement team is the mental health team, and they work with people with severe and enduring mental health problems. So it's people that have been through the system and it's been unsuccessful, and they need more intense input. They need that extra bit of support, that one-on-one. It could be CBT, as in cognitive behavioural therapy. It could be intense systematic family therapy. It could be helping with some practical things as well. It's a varied way of working with people to give them a more chance of successfully recovering. And it was very, very effective. So it was an excellent team. I still see a lot of members of that team now. And while in that team, I looked at the work of Mary Copeland, and she looked at the Wellness Recovery Action Plan, often called the WRAP plan. And I adapted some of the stuff that she'd done and done like a template. Look how long ago it was. If the images are so bad. But the essence of what was in the pack and how it worked was really effective, and I think that's something that could be really effective in your life and in all our lives, and it's something that is really important, especially for people who suffer from chronic fatigue, high levels of stress, fibromyalgia. It's things like that where you can actually take some kind of control over your condition, some control over your feelings, some control over you. So it starts with looking at what you are like when you're well, and that's something that sometimes we don't think about, and it's something that's still very, very important, not only for you to think about it, but also for people around you to know what you are on your good day, what you are in your best self. So if naturally you're very happy, competent, you're very happy-go-lucky, you enjoy crowds, you enjoy socializing, these are your characteristics, and it's good to put that down, because somebody coming in that doesn't know you might see you being very sad, very miserable all the time, and think that's your personality. But you know your personality, and it's in those times, in the good time, to actually just write down a pen picture of you. So that's how you kind of start the plan, and then it moves on to really for you to unpick and to think about what things do you do that are fun for you, what do you enjoy doing. And it's important to look at a range of activities that are fun. So it could mean speaking with friends on the phone, social media, it could be going to the cinema, it could be reading a good book, relaxing in a bubble bath. It's things that you enjoy doing, and this is kind of like your wellness tool. It's a toolbox, things that you can use, and by writing it down, it means that when you're at your low point, you don't necessarily have to think about it. You can refer back to that list of things that you enjoy doing. In contrast, it's also important to write down a list of things that you must avoid doing. So if you know that in your saddest moments, in your most stressful moments, you might smoke more, or you might use illicit drugs, or you might drink more, or you might isolate yourselves, and that makes the situation worse for you, then you know that these are things that you must avoid doing. And it's handy to write it down, as I said, for other people to see, because there's a role for other people to look at that pack, but also for you to really unpick and just find out more about yourself. And I think we spend a lot of time being distracted by music and movies and computers, or the whole range of things that are in our lives to focus on, without actually getting deep inside with ourselves, without kind of thinking, what do I like doing? What do I actually enjoy doing? Am I doing this because everybody's doing it, or is it something that I find fun? What shall I avoid doing? What causes me problems? Is it, if I'm really, really stressed, I eat a whole pack of biscuits. How do I feel afterwards? Well, I don't feel very good. So that's something that I need to avoid doing. So sometimes writing it down can make that difference. So then it goes on to looking at things that you must do. So must is always right, can't go out, things that you must do. So if you are on medication, for example, then this is something that needs to keep you well. So if you're on high blood pressure medication, you mustn't avoid taking that You must make sure that you take the medication as prescribed. And if you are thinking about discontinuing medication, that you do that under the guidance of your consultant or your GP. And the reason why I say that, and I stress that importance, is that our bodies adapt really well. So if you give it something, it says, well, I don't need to make that chemical anymore because it's being supplied, and your body stops producing that chemical, and you're supplying it with that tablet or that medication. And then if you just stop abruptly, it's actually a shock to the system, and it can cause more stress and it can cause more problems. So I always say with any kind of medication, it's always better to wean yourself off slowly. Give your body time to adapt. Give you time to adapt. So that's something that's really, really important. And a lot of people stop medication, or sometimes they think, oh, I feel better, stop medication. And then that can cause long-term problems, or you end up being on more medication the next time you go back on, because you're counteracting the damage that you've done. So it's important to be very, very careful. When it comes to some medical issues, I always say, yes, medication is good in that crisis moment. So your blood pressure is really high, take that medication, get it down. Your blood sugar levels are really out of sort, take the medication and help to get that sorted out. But also, that's just removing the symptoms. And in the short term, that's excellent. But in the long term, it's about thinking about, what do I need to do in order to get my body to heal? So if I know that my salt content is really, really high, and that's causing a problem to my blood pressure, instead of thinking, well, I'm just going to take the blood pressure medication, think about reducing the salt in your food, the fat in your food. Think about what acid forming foods that you're eating that you could change in your diet or your lifestyle. So make those long-term changes that can be beneficial for you, as opposed to relying solely on medication. With regards to mental health, I always believe that the tablets can help you to get into a position where you can start dealing with the issues at hand, and it helps you to do that. But it's important that you deal with those issues, because if you don't deal with the issues, it doesn't mean that they go away. It just means that now you become reliant on the medication, and things can sometimes become even worse. So that's my feeling about that. Also, things that you must do is have some kind of physical activity, some movement in your body. Our bodies are designed to move, and whether that's going for a walk, jogging, dancing, whatever it does, our body likes to move. So it's important to have that. We're also very social people, so I always think that to have some kind of social contact, in whatever way you decide that to be, is really, really important. Isolating yourself can really make things worse, because we are social animals. So also your physiology, how you stand and how you prepare yourself to make sure that you do the daily basic things. You have your shower, you brush your teeth, things that make you feel good, so have those as your must. And then think about things that you can do for a change. So that could be go for a massage, go to a spa, go out for a meal with your friends, or plan something good for the weekend, visit family. There's things that you might not be doing every single day, but things that you can do for a change that also help to keep you well. And that can, that's important to write down as many things as possible that you can think of, so that you have that choice. The next area looks at your personal triggers. So what makes you unwell, what makes you and that can be in the whole range. So it could be if you have emotional problems with your family, that can set off your depression. If you overexert yourself, that can trigger your lupus. Do you know what I mean? So look at what is your personal triggers. Overeating can cause acid problems and irritable bowel problems. So look at what triggers are relevant for you, and it's all personal to you. So it's about noting those things down, and knowing that if the triggers do occur, then it's about tapping into the next part, which is looking at your social networks and your helping hand, and that's important to do that. And remember, and I think this is really important as well, especially in modern day society, it's like we're not allowed to feel. And I think it's important for us to realise that having emotions is valuable, it's important. It's okay to be happy, in the same way it's okay to be sad. And not to try and avoid those emotions or block them out, but actually to try and deal with those emotions, to work through those emotions, to understand you. And I think that's really, really important, and something that we need to remember. Noting down also what are your personal warning signs? So this could mean that you have a low tolerance level, you become argumentative, you become very quiet, you lose your appetite. These are your particular feelings and actions that you do. So it's about splitting it down to your thoughts. I feel that the world is against me. I feel that I can't do anything right. I feel that I have no friends. So it's looking at your feelings, but also looking at those sensations. So your thoughts, your feelings, and of course, to look at your particular behavior. So your behavior might be to pick arguments. That might be your behavior, or to bury yourself in your work. That could be things that you could be doing. So it's important to look at that. And sometimes, if you have close friends and people that you trust, then it's good to ask them as well about what they observe from you when you're going through a difficult time. So if they notice that you're argumentative, then that's something that you can jot down, even though you might not feel it in yourself. Sometimes outsiders can observe what's going on and have a different point of view. So it's good to respect that, especially if it's somebody that you care about and that you trust. So know what's happening when things are really breaking down, where they become totally uncomfortable or dangerous or so serious, and list what that is. And that could be things like you're not sleeping, you're not talking, you're not taking your medication. There could be things that says, right, okay, we need to put into action your plan. And one of the first things to look at by your action plan is to tell others how you're feeling. I think it's really important for us to express that to people that we trust, and all too often we hold it inside. There's maybe a shame or an embarrassment or a feeling that I shouldn't feel this way, and because you're going through that, you keep it inside, and that can sometimes make matters worse. And I think it's important to not to feel embarrassed about having problems or needing to ask for help. That can actually be a very positive thing, and it's something that we need to encourage, that we talk to each other. So choose like the 3 people, that you are going to talk to about and tell about how you're feeling. So tell others how you're feeling, and that's important to have that. Don't forget to do the important things like play relaxing music. Keep a diary. It's very important. That can be really good. Take time off work if necessary. Take time for yourself. Have your massage. Remember the things that you must do. And then when it goes to your crisis plan, it's about having 5 people. 5 people, if you can, 5 people that you trust that are your support network. And I always think, and I say this, water seeks its own level. Look about your surroundings and the people that you surround yourself with, and what are they doing? How are they benefiting you? How do you benefit them? It should be a 50 give and take kind of relationship. Sometimes we can surround ourselves with people, and sometimes it's family members, but we surround ourselves with people that drain your energy, spiritual vampires. When you're around them, you feel drained. So you're thinking, well, should I really be spending time with them? And then other times you've got people who you can hang around and they give you energy. You feel happy when you're in their presence. You feel comfortable, you feel safe, you feel secure. And that can be really important as well. So look at your networks and try and find 5 people that you trust enough, that know you when you're well, that you can trust their opinions, and they can be that advice line to you. So it might be a key worker if you're in the system. It might be CPN. It could be your doctor. It could be your parents, your siblings, your best friend, your partner. It's people that you trust. And it's also handy, just in case, to put one person in overall control. So somebody that's very close to you. And then remember why you chose that person, and give that person jobs to do. So list down the whys. I'm listing down this person because they've helped me before in the past. I trust their opinion. They want the best for me. Write down those things which are important, and then give them the job. And it might just be to listen to you when you're unwell. It might be to help you with practical things, picking up the children, providing you food, helping speak to work for you. It could be some practical things, but give them jobs to do, and be clear and specific about what you want them to do. And go through for each person and then make sure that they've all got a job, all got a role. And you can even on your pack, which if I show you an example, this is like what I did if somebody was a best friend, the whys and the job, and make sure that you put their telephone number. This shows how old it is. It isn't a mobile number, it's a land number. It shows, I did this quite a while ago, but put down contact details, because of course you can give this pack to them, give it to other people that's in your 5 core groups, so everybody knows who to contact and who's important and what their role and responsibilities are. Okay, so now that you've got that process, you can also be specific, where you can say to people how to behave around me. So sometimes when people are going through their lowest time, they say that people treat them like a child, or they ignore their views and opinions, they discredit them, or they shout at them, or they say stupid things, pull yourself together, or something that can actually make matters worse. So this is an opportunity to put down the do's and the don'ts. So allow me to listen to my music, allow me to talk freely, allow me to have space. These are things that you can say, and the don'ts could be things: don't assume that I'm being rude, or don't take offense if I'm a bit more sharp with my words, don't isolate me, don't make me do things I don't want to do, or don't force me, or don't criticize me. You can actually put the do's and the don'ts inside there. And the next section is looking at what to do when the crisis is over, and to know what that feels like. So it might be that your conversations is better, that you're talking more, you're more social, you are eating better, you're sleeping better. These are the things that show that the crisis is actually, you've gone through the worst part and things are improving. In fact, things are a lot better. So it's important to look at that. You're eating normally, things like that. And then the last section is to look at that post kind of crisis plan, where you actually unpick what happened in that particular incident, and to see whether you would change anything now. So you might find that somebody that you thought was in your support network might not be the best person in your support network, and you want to change it for somebody else, or somebody was more reliable, or somebody couldn't cope, and things like that. So a list of things that you might need to do. If, for example, you had to go into hospital, list of postings could be to get in your electric sorted out, to let people know, to let work know. There's a whole range of things that you can do. As I said, you make it personal to you. Well, this is an excellent plan. I think this is a good start to making your recovery personal to you, and also to give you back control over your life. And I think it was very effective when I worked with the assertive engagement team, and I hope that it could be effective for you. So if it's something that you're interested in, I might put an updated version, make that available for people that are interested. So let me know. I hope that helped. So take care. And of course, if you want more information about magnesium, health products, natural hair products, then come to our website. You've also got our blogs, where you've got information about health and well-being in general, and some specific to things like shungite, the importance of water, and the importance of diet. So that's on the website as well. So go to MorganGenus.com and find out more information, or come over, sign up to our email and our mailing list, and you can get a monthly newsletter finding out what's happening in the local area, but also aspects of health and well-being. So I hope that's helped, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.